We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. I'm your host, D-Bake. Right now we will be recapping one championship Dangal, which just ended an hour ago, which was headlined by a World Heavyweight Championship matchup between the champion Brandon Vera going up against Arjan Bhullar for, like I said, the heavyweight championship in a 5-round fight. What a card we had this morning, of course, after the great one on TNT season 1 ended a few weeks ago. We're back at the normal morning slot here in the U.S., but for today it was a special Saturday morning showing for the India crowd with Bhullar challenging for the belt. In 2 weeks there will be the one in Power card with the Atomweight Grand Prix starting, where they'll be back at the Friday morning time slot. But let's get started with our sponsor. As if you guys don't already know, we have a sponsor right here at Cage My IQ and Sports Box now, and it is 99 Jersey. If you don't already know, we are now partnered with 99 Jersey, the #1 shop of boutique sportswear in the U.S. Whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, 99 Jersey has you covered. Use promo code SPORTSBOX20 at checkout to get 20% off your next purchase. And don't forget to let them know we sent you. Once again, go to www.99jersey.com and use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout. And don't forget to be the first to rep your team. We're proud to be sponsored by them. So if you could do us a favor and go to 99jersey.com and whatever you purchase, just use code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout, and then you'll receive a discount for going on and using them. So definitely check them out in the future for any of the jerseys you like. But moving on from the sponsor to the main card at hand, the first matchup that we had on here was an atomweight matchup between Bwin, who defeated Fogot by split decision right here, and kind of a controversial outcome here because in the whole fight, Fogot was able to take down Bwin several times and then hold her down, but Bwin was able to outstrike Fogot by a lot, and it created the controversy of a bunch of fans because of how the judges scored it. They thought that it was going to be Ritu for Fogot because of her takedowns, where she was able to take Bwin down pretty easily and then hold her down for a while. But I think what the difference was in this fight in rounds 1, 2, and 3, where every time she took her down, at some point Bwin would get back up, and then she would go after Ritu Fogot with combinations and striking, and she would just before and after she would put a lot of volume down. And I feel like she closed the gap each time because Ritu Fogot didn't do much with the striking. Like, majority of her game was the takedowns, and Bwin was able to catch back with that with her striking and then go ahead. And I do think Ritu Fogot had the second round because Bwin didn't do much in the second round, but I still gave the first round and the third round to Bwin because she was able to capitalize when she got back to her feet. It wasn't like the fight was on the ground the whole time. It was only for partial times in each round, and then her striking just, I think, canceled that out and some, and then she was able to pick up the victory with her lethal combinations of striking and leg kicks, and it resulted in her picking up the victory. And now, because of this, Ritu Fogot has been eliminated from the Atomweight Grand Prix. So this was a stylistic matchup that threatened Bwin, but she was able to pick up the win with her striking and then move on. And now Ritu Fogot doesn't get to compete in a couple weeks in the Grand Prix. But congrats to Bwin on weathering the takedown storm and then using her striking to pick up the victory. And the second matchup on the card, main card, we had a Muay Thai bout, which saw Tawanchi Sensei defeat Sean Clancy by third round TKO. This was Sensei's debut in ONE FC, and he didn't disappoint anybody. He dominated this fight from start to finish before he got the TKO. There was no chance that Sean Clancy had in this fight to land anything. Sensei's his defense was on point, with keeping the distance away, not letting Clancy get anything started, whereas his offense was just off the charts with his explosion, attacking the body, his leg kicks, his 1-2 combinations to the head. They just bewildered Clancy all fight. And then at one point in the early on, Sensei knocked down Clancy, and Clancy got back up after 8, but he just looked very out of it from their point on out. And Sensei just dominated the matchup, and then he finished it in the third round with the left kick to the face that just made the referee stop the fight, because he was just taking too much damage. And in Muay Thai, once you knock a guy down 2 to 3 times, usually that's over with the matchup, because the ref has seen enough. And that's what happened in this one. Clancy was bloody. Like, he couldn't get anything started on offense because the defense of Sensei was just too impeccable. And then Sensei's offense was on point, and Clancy had no answer on his own defense to stop him. And it was a dominating debut by Tawanchi Sensei, and he picks up the victory over Sean Clancy in the Muay Thai bout, and sticks his claim in this Muay Thai division, where I could see this guy challenging and winning the championship in the future with what he showed in this matchup. So keep an eye on Tawanchi Sensei in the future, because we're going to see his name a lot going on. But he picks this victory up via third round TKO against Sean Clubber Clancy. Moving on to the main event of the evening that we have, it was a 5-round heavyweight title matchup between Brandon Vera, who defended his title against Arjan Bhullar, and then in a shocker that we had Arjan Bhullar defeat Brandon Vera by second round KO to become the first Indian-born fighter to win a world title. As you see right here, he's holding the belt. Basically, what happened was they start for the first few minutes. They started out on the feet, and Arjan Bhullar is a big guy, just like Brandon Vera, but in all of Brandon Vera's one matchups, his fights have only gone 3 or 4 minutes max. So he hasn't been through the grinder in his matchups. He's won pretty easily. And the heavyweight division has changed a lot in the past 2 years, where we've got these new talent in here. And Arjan Bhullar is at the top of that heap. He's a big wrestler who used his weight, and then he has impeccable movement to avoid shots. He moves like a middleweight, and then his boxing is very underrated, and he showcased that in his matchup. From the get-go, Bhullar was using his movement to avoid Brandon Vera's big shots. And then Brandon Vera would connect early, but he didn't connect as good because Bhullar was moving perfectly to take the less amount of shots and power as possible. And then he was countering that with his boxing, which was able to catch Vera several times in the first round. But the big movement in the first round was Bhullar taking down Vera with a minute and a half left in the round, and then just laying on top of Brandon Vera. Brandon Vera had his hand in a Kimura lock, and then to counteract that, Arjan Bhullar would just sit on Brandon Vera and lay there, and then lay his weight on him, so Brandon Vera couldn't do anything in the position until the clock hit 0 at the end of the round. Then in the start of the second round, Brandon Vera looked a little bit tired, and then Bhullar looked like he was ready to go for another couple rounds. Bhullar comes in, connects on a couple combinations on Brandon Vera, that hit him in the body, and it looked like Brandon Vera at that point was really compromised. He was holding his stomach, and then he looked like he needed time to recover, so he just went away from Bhullar. And then at that point, Bhullar was able to take down Brandon Vera, and Brandon Vera looked like he was done because he laid hole in his head. And then for the next minute and a half, Arjan Bhullar would just pick and strike at Brandon Vera. He didn't overdo it. He just hit him when he needed to hit him. And at that point, a minute into that, the ref asked Brandon Vera to defend himself, and he basically wasn't. So the referee stopped the fight halfway through the second round, and then Arjan Bhullar was crowned new heavyweight champion in ONE FC, the first Indian-born fighter to win the title in one championship. And he raised his hand, and they asked him who he wanted next, and he said the Korean that has been talking smack, he would like to defend his newly acquired heavyweight championship against him. And then he was also calling out AEW and WWE and the wrestling scene, and told them that he was coming and to watch out. So it'd be interesting to see what's next overall for Arjan Singh Bhullar. But what a great performance by him. He picks up the victory over Brandon Vera, who, when they interviewed him after the bout, he had said that he was going to go back to Sanford MMA. He was disappointed in the outcome, that he had injured his ribs in training, but he wasn't going to use that as an excuse, and he was going to go back to Florida and get back to training, and he's going to come back for his title with the next shot that he gets. So expect to see more from Brandon Vera, but Arjan Bhullar has defeated him and has claimed the championship from Brandon Vera, and will be the namesake of the division until further news. That will wrap up our one championship Dangle recap show for you this morning. Of course, as you know, I'm your host, D-Bake, and this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. And then don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where all of our content is. We do recap, preview episodes for each promotion. And then we go live every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for a UFC recap show. And then we also do interviews with fighters. So don't hesitate to go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it, and then catch all of our content on there if you missed it, because you don't want to miss any of the action in the world of MMA. It's the hottest thing around, and then we're at the forefront of it. But once again, I am your host, D-Bake. This was the One Championship Dangle recap show. Just like I said before, we're sponsored by 99 Jersey. Use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout to receive 20% off your next purchase. Support the brand, and then we'll check you guys out Monday night for the UFC 262 recap show live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. But other than that, I am D-Bake. This is Cage My IQ, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.